Well, that was the coolest. Was that the coolest?
I
Oh,
love it. We're fancy.
so fancy. Welcome, 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 everyone, to Never Alone Live. My name is Johnny, and I am joined by Krista, the sober Barbie, as usual, my favorite person in the world. And today, we may or may not have a guest popping in. I'm not quite sure. It's one of those days, one of those days. But we have a lot to talk about, and this is going to be awesome. Today we're talking about, it's rather controversial topic, and let's, you know what, we're going to talk about why it's a controversial topic today. We're talking about Matt, who people who don't know what Matt is medically assisted treatment. Here at Never Alone Recovery, we are all about any form of recovery, whatever people are doing to get better. We're for it. We're pro, whether it's, AA, NA, CA, CR, MAT, MOUD, MOUD, which stands for Medications for Opioid Use Disorder. This is a big topic. Krista, what do you think about all this?
This is a great topic because we have to keep up with what is on these streets right now. It's evolving as fast as recovery. Well, the recovery is trying to keep up with it. But there is such a controversy. I mean, you and I kind of were in the same boat when we were getting sober, and we learned one way and it worked. And um, plus, that program kind of sees it that one way as well. But living through experience and loving people that have struggled with what's out on those streets right now, personally, I've seen it firsthand on how this like changed everything for me. So I'm excited for today. I'm glad we're talking about it because
Me
you don't
too.
know what you don't know.
Me
No.
too. And we got some friends here in the comments. Let's do some shout outs. We got Jenny Mack in the house. And we got my favorite Canadian, Sarah, in the house. It looks like Lauren is here because it says I'm here with a lot of exclamation points. So she's here. And then our friend Paul is here, and he is in the hospital currently and ain't got nothing better to do than let's go on YouTube and watch Krista and Johnny talk about Matt. He's so excited. And we got Jessica. Jessica's here, and Kristen is here, and Kelly is here. Look at everybody's coming and joining. Tell us what's going on with you in your life today. We're going to be talking about some interesting topics. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it, and if you guys have a thought about it, you want to talk about something, write it in the comments. We're going to talk about it. Um, so Matt, medically assisted treatment, commonly known, some of the actual things that people are taking is Suboxone. Some people are taking methadone, um, and these are anti-opiates. Correct. I mean, why don't you give some experience, strength, and hope on this one, Krista?
Yeah. They all have different effects as well. And I'm not an expert. This is not medical advice, or I'm not a professional. This is really experience and what I've learned through the years. And they also do have like the Vivitrol shot. They have shots. There's all different forms of it. But like you have one that will block the receptors, almost kind of like Narcan in a way, that will literally block the use of it. And then you have like the maintenance one that will help with cravings or that sort of thing. And then it kind of reminds me of like in the past, like I've been on antidepressants, and you kind of had to, the doctor would prescribe it and you kind of had to see if it would work. And if it didn't, you try another one and another one. And from our experience, my husband, it helped him a lot. And he started with one I think it was Subutex, and it worked for a little bit, and then it wasn't for him, and now he's on methadone, and that's been a game changer for him and our family and our life, and him being able to be productive member in society and actually give him a chance to work a recovery program. And I think that's important too, is you can't just take medicine and just expect it to do everything. You have to do the internal work as well, with like therapy or meetings or some kind of recovery program. It goes hand in hand, because it's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound. It'll work for a little bit, it'll contain some of it, but then it won't.
So let me go back to the comments. Jody is here. Good morning, Jody. It's good to see you here. And Minnie Long and our buddy Brian, old Buster's here. Love that. I love that
Hey.
I love that our TikTok family comes to support us.
Yeah.
And and Kristen is here. Kristen's talking about, she's a drinker, doesn't have much, knowledge about hard substances and things like that. And I me too. Me too.
Same.
I was a drinker, and I was using drugs, but nothing like what's out there now. Nothing is what's like out there now. And having a bunch of time in recovery, having a bunch of time in AA, I kind of got closed-minded to all of this mat stuff, this idea of taking a drug to get off a drug, right? It's difficult to comprehend. And it wasn't until a few months ago here, I'm telling you, my whole life has changed because of all the things that we're doing. And when interviewing a woman on here, and her talking about, past trauma, and that past trauma, the worst trauma you can think of, and it messes with your head, and it takes over everything, the thoughts, and it was heroin that helped her escape that negative thoughts. And then of course heroin took her down the next bad road and brought her to prison, and gets out of prison, wants to live a different life, and gets on methadone, and now has 2 years sober. That's amazing. That's a miracle. And right then and there, I said, anybody who wants to be a naysayer about Matt, go live a second in this woman's shoes. Go, that's I personally have no, I shouldn't have any opinion on it, because if you haven't lived that life, if you haven't been in it, it's you gotta have an open mind. You gotta have an
Yeah.
open mind. That's the real key. Who else do we got? Curtis, my boy Curtis just joined. Nice. And is that Sarah from Minnesota? Our Minnesota
No,
friend?
that's Canadian, Sarah.
No, there's another Sarah
Oh,
uh,
I didn't see. They're going
on
quick.
Facebook. This is so awesome. So awesome.
Yeah,
So
and
awesome.
the people in the chat, you guys should share this out, because you don't know who might need to hear something like this, because they might feel like they can't get out of what they're going through, but there is help and there is different kinds of solutions, and you never know.
Currently I am in Nashville. I am in Nashville at a conference, the RX Summit, and it is all about opioids and illicit drugs, and it is about prevention, eradication, and recovery. And yesterday I was in an awesome symposium. The head of the DEA was there. The head of the opioid settlement funds for Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia was there. And the head of the Department of Health was there and shared with us some numbers. And these numbers we're going to share with you right now. Can we pull up that first slide, please? These are real. This is real stuff. And if you follow along, in 2024, there were 86,000 deaths from overdose. These are overdose death numbers. So 86,000 deaths from opiates. Um, of that, 2,900 were heroin. Um, and 53,000 were from synthetic opioids. Now, synthetic opioids, what is that? That's fentanyl. That is all these other new drugs that we're talking about. These are the drugs that are being manufactured by the cartels in Mexico. These are drugs, these are synthetic drugs that are so potent, so powerful. They're being added to other drugs. They're being put into everything. There this is these numbers are wild. 86,000 overdoses. Of that, 53,000 overdoses in 1024 from fentanyl. Now, a year later, from 1024 to 1025, it went from 86,000 deaths to 71,000 deaths. There's a 17% decrease in overdose deaths. 17% decrease. Now, this is actually good news. We're looking at this. This is good news. Why is this good news? How is these numbers happening? The numbers are happening because people are actually because of Matt, because of Suboxone, because of methadone, because of different programs that are actually helping people. Clinical Trial Network, models of opioid, um, of these different things. These are clinical case care settings, and but all these are what are driving the deaths down. Does it stop the addiction? Does it stop everything else? I'm not sure. We don't know. But as far as stopping the overdose deaths, this is a big portion. This and the readiness of Narcan, the fact that people have Narcan, that the Narcan is out there, that people are recognizing that it can save lives, so that it's actually being administered and used. These are actually helping the numbers of people that are dying. And the first and foremost is we got to stop people from dying, right? We talk here about addiction. We talk here about drugs. We talk here about alcohol, and the reason we're here, the reason we're talking is because we want to help, and we're going to help in any way we can. Okay.
Yeah, it's harm reduction, and a
Yes.
lot of people you have there's a lot of people that focus mainly on harm reduction, and a lot of the old school recovery people look down on it because you think it's enabling, but Narcan doesn't enable. It enables breathing. I mean, you can't force somebody to get help, but you can keep it safe for the moments of when they are finally ready and keep planting seeds. And like you said, we got to keep them alive.
That's the key. I mean, we can't recover if we die, And that's the thing is with this opioid crisis, there is no more experimentation. There is no more experimentation. The days of 30 years ago, when we experimented with weed, when we experimented with drugs, we experimented with stuff, these days are gone. All of the drugs are being laced now. Everything is being laced. There's a huge thing with fake pills. Fake pills are going around like wildfire, and there are factories in Mexico, in Colombia, that are producing pills that look just like the pills that
The
you're being
trap
prescribed.
house down the street is doing it.
They look just like the pills that are being prescribed. And what pills are being prescribed? And a big one is Adderall. Adderall. Kids are being put on Adderall all day, every day. And then, they've been taking it their whole life, and now they want more. And this is a big thing. And people are prescribing them, this Adderall, and where are they going to get it? They're not going to the doctor to get it. So they're going to go to the streets and they think that they're taking pills that are doctor led. They're not. These are pills that are being made in Mexico, being sold up here, and they are just fentanyl. They are
Yeah.
just fentanyl. And the cartel, they love this because they're actually, they're pushing, kids and getting them addicted to opiates, and they don't even know because kids are, there's okay, I don't want to do heroin. I don't want to do heroin, but I've been prescribed Adderall. And oh, I need some more Adderall, so I'm just going to get it from down the street. And now they're going down the street and getting Adderall that they think is Adderall, and it's really fentanyl. And now they're being addicted to opiates. This is how this works. This is how this is happening. This is how this is, taking over. The DEA last year seized 80 million pills. They seized 80 million pills. So I figured they got about 10%. That means that there's 800
Yeah.
million pills out there. And it is this is deadly stuff that we're talking about. We had Megan, I don't know if you can find the picture. There's a picture of how much fentanyl it takes to kill, and it's there's a penny, right? A picture of a penny, and right next to the picture of a penny is this little bit of powder, and it's that much fentanyl that it takes to kill a person. It gets in your brain and it takes over, and there is no experimenting anymore. This is being laced in weed. This is being put in heroin. This is being put in meth. This is being put in everything. And all these deaths, those numbers that we were talking about before, these deaths aren't coming just from a heroin overdose or a meth overdose or a cocaine overdose. They're all, when the tests come back, it's heroin, cocaine. There it is. There's the picture. This is the how much it takes. This is how much fentanyl it takes to actually kill a person. This picture right here sums up everything that we're talking about. This little bit of fentanyl will kill a person. And this is what we don't even know that we're taking it. This is the thing, is it's being put into weed. I know people, I've heard stories of people who have lost their kid because the kid went and smoked some weed, and the weed was laced with fentanyl, and it was this amount of fentanyl in one joint that killed a kid. This is where this all gets so sad. So sad. And we're here today. We're talking about this stuff. We're talking about drugs. We're talking about Matt. We're talking about all of the things. Whatever it takes to help us save lives. This is why we're here.
Yeah. And what's even more dangerous is the local drug dealers. They have pill presses and they use a magic bullet blender. They're not in a pharmacy getting the exact amounts of stuff. And that little bit of fentanyl is what's going to like trick the mind to think they're getting what they're getting. And it's kind of Russian roulette because some may not have any of it in it because they're mixing a bunch of stuff, but you might get that lethal dose. And it's literally like 2 salt grains, like that size. And what, like that, there's in South Carolina, there's a big campaign about one pill can kill. It's literally trying it one time that you may never wake up. And then the stuff that's out here now, Narcan, one case of Narcan comes with 2 doses. That's not even enough. From every recent overdose I've heard about, they've had to use like 5 or 6 cases of Narcan to bring somebody back.
These numbers are staggering. All of this stuff is happening because, there's drugs out there and people are getting addicted. And, we're talking today about Matt. We're talking today about, about methadone and Suboxone and the advantages of. We're talking about the advantages of. Now, when it comes to addiction, there's a body and a mind component. The body piece, and with these illicit drugs, with heroin, with meth, with fentanyl, it takes over your body, and your body craves the drug. Your body craves having more and needing more. You get physically sick if you don't get your drug of choice. And that's the hard part. That's the first part. That's that first piece, right? And after that first piece, it's like you fall in love with these drugs. It becomes the solution to your problems. It becomes your everything. We talk in programs, we talk about powerlessness, right? And I'm powerless over drugs and alcohol once I ingest them into my body. And I mean, with fentanyl, all you have to do is touch it. It touches your skin. It goes through your skin, and we get that high, and we want that high, and we chase that high, and we keep going, and we want that high because it makes us feel better. It makes us think. We stop thinking about our kids. We stop thinking about our jobs. We stop thinking about all the things that we care about in the world, all of our money, all of our time. Everything goes towards the drugs, and that's the addiction. That's the powerlessness. And I can admit powerlessness, but with this heroin, with this fentanyl, with this meth, with these hard drugs, synthetic drugs that are being made specifically to kill people and get them high and keep them addicted. The MAT program, is designed so that it gets you off of that drug of choice. You don't People who are on methadone and Suboxone, they don't want to be on methadone and Suboxone. Yes, does it get them high? I've never done it. So, but from everybody who I've talked to who does it, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. Krista, I'm going to turn it over and let you talk about this part.
And I don't even think there is heroin anymore, from what I've heard. It's all fentanyl. And we're talking about powerlessness, but let's talk about fear too, because I think a big reason too is the fear of the withdrawals. They don't want, it's scary. It's like the worst flu of your life. There's tummy issues. It's it it takes you out, and it is the worst feeling. And in their mind, there's only one way to fix it. And it just it just sorry, the 4-year-old just walked and I thought she was going to say something not right. um it The fear of watching, like, my husband having to face the there to face withdrawals was the scariest part. And then now he doesn't have to face that, but you have to have a plan though with this methadone or whatever you're using, because there's a fear of, if you can't get to that clinic or that doctor too, that's scary as well. um but having a plan changes everything. And I'm beyond grateful for MAT, because it gave him an opportunity to live a normal life and be a better person. And when I was in rehab, I watched girls kick heroin, 80-pound girls kick heroin with the Benadryl. So when I came out, I'm like, why can't you get it? Like, and I got it. And I did this. AA worked for me, and I watched it work for these girls who were going through like a similar thing. But I got sober the year illicit fentanyl took over the streets. I don't know. You have to be quiet. It's stop. But yeah, seeing him not be able to get it, but him wanting it. He wanted it. He wanted to get sober so bad. And then we were introduced to an MAT clinic, and it changed everything. But you got to want it. That's a big difference too. Or
That,
being forced to do
that,
it.
I mean, the first step in any program is admitting the powerlessness and seeing life as unmanageable. You have to see it first. I know when I was out there, and I wasn't even on any of these hard drugs that, a lot of the people are on. But I couldn't pay bills. My money went to drugs and alcohol. I was living in my mom's basement with a repoed car, and and I thought I was doing great, and that's what these the alcohol and the drugs, they make you feel that way because it gets you out of the depression. You don't think about all the, oh, my life is so horrible. It's because you're high and you just want that next high, and you want to just keep that high going and escape life, escape reality, so that you just stay high. And so once you accept that unmanageability, that powerlessness, and then you can go and go to the clinic, go and get on a plan. And Buster was talking in the comments before that staying on these, it might, I don't know, it might, maybe you got to stay on that forever. But any medical professional that I've been talking to is you get on and then you wean off. And our friend who we interviewed before, who had 2 years sober from heroin, she was weaning down, and doing awesome. And our buddy who was going to be on here today, he was going to come on here. He was on Matt and got 2 years and weaned down, and he graduated, and he doesn't take methadone anymore. So it's upsetting he couldn't be here today, but he's got to work, and that's what happens. You get sober, you get a life, right? And you gotta, so
Yeah, and it is a slow, gradual process of that as well, because you don't want to just, because you do have similar withdrawal symptoms as getting off the original thing. And then we have a whole nother beast of a drug out there that is kratom and 7-OH that's sold in a vape shop or a gas station. From what I've witnessed is people have had to go on MAT to get off that as well. And it's not, the DEA is doing, I think they're doing their best to try to get it off the shelves, but that's a slow process as well. And I just, I'm just beyond grateful we're talking about this, really, because it's an untalked. A lot of people don't talk about it, and then a lot of people have shame that they're on it. Like, we've met a clinic in your area up there that has a great system they do, because you have a lot of first responders that need this. Like, we don't talk about what the trauma they all go through, and that sometimes they do turn to opioids or whatever, and they allow them to like come in earlier for their dose or whatever, so it's not they don't feel the stigma or judged or the shame of coming off of it. You don't know who's going through what. I mean, look at these celebrities or these athletes. We talked to an athlete the other day about what they have a lot of physical issues, and they, especially the contact sports, and they are prescribed this. It's not even just the illicit stuff. And coming off the prescription stuff, you feel the withdrawals, and sometimes you need a little extra help because the doctor will just cut you off. And what do? You turn to the streets, which is even more deadly, you know?
So we started off this conversation with the fact that this is a controversial topic. And there we have someone in the comments right now who doesn't like Matt. And there's a lot of people out there who have an idea in their head that says, nope, this is the way to do it. And and if that's the way that works for you, that's the way that works for you. That doesn't mean that that's the way it works for everybody. And this is why this is a controversial topic. I know that certain programs out there, they say that it's complete abstinence. Complete abstinence is the only way. And if you are on Suboxone or methadone, they say that's not abstinence. And they have the right to have their opinion. Everybody has the right to have their opinion, but that's your opinion for you. Let's keep that as your opinion for you, not your opinion for the rest of the world. When did you get decide that you get to be God? How about that? When did you get to decide to be you get to be God and tell everybody else what they should do and what they shouldn't do? I didn't need Matt. I didn't need Matt. I wasn't on anything like that. But if I have a family member or a friend that is suffering from the disease of addiction and they're on these drugs that they just can't get off of, and if Matt is a possibility of them being able to get off of their drug of choice, get into a program, and then wean off of that mat, then that sounds like a pretty damn good idea, you know?
Yes.
And open-mindedness is the key to everything in life. I have to stay open-minded to all of the possibilities, all the different ideas. And what worked for me isn't necessarily gonna work for somebody who is suffering from some other disease. Um,
Yeah.
addiction addiction comes in all forms, and the road to recovery, there's a lot of different roads to recovery, and I'm a proponent of all the roads, all the roads. If somebody comes to me and asks me how I did what I do, I'm gonna tell them what I did, you know? And if I can help them and they can do the way that I did, phenomenal. But some people, other people need this extra help. And the fact that the numbers that we're seeing, the fact that overdose deaths are going down because of the mat is that's the number that screams, you know, from going from 87,000 deaths to 76,000 deaths. That's enormous. That's 10,000 people that didn't die because of the MAT program.
Yeah, and the numbers are going down, but still overdose is the number one leading cause of death from ages 18 to 45. And if it wasn't for this is reality right here. If it wasn't for MAT and its existence, I'm gonna cry. Yesterday was my husband's 17 months of sobriety. Instead of celebrating that, I'd be taking my children to visit his grave, and that's reality right there. And it's not his fault. It all started with a football injury that the doctor was his first drug dealer, and it led to them cutting him off from the medication for him to go to the streets. And because of the 12 steps and MAT, he's able to work through and heal and be a present father, husband, employee, member in society. And it's game changing for real.
It's really amazing watching Bubba and seeing what Bubba's doing, and because Bubba's doing exactly what we're talking about. Is he on Matt? Yes. But does he work a program to help him with his other problems in life? Yes. And is he weaning off of the mat? Yes. This is how it works. And that is success in my book. That's success. You know, that's there's so many things that we can talk about with this, and over the next few weeks we're going to have more people on talking about Matt, talking about this stuff. This is not something that's going away. Fentanyl isn't going away. Heroin's not going away. It never has. And meth is not going away.
And
um
there's new stuff. There's new stuff.
every
The
day.
news feed is filled with the new rhino tranquilizer. Like there's all this different that's coming in with more and more. And then you also have the stuff people are getting off the internet from the wherever, and that's a whole nother topic as well.
That's
So we got
and
to
that
keep up
that's
with
a
the
that's a
times.
big one, and that's one where people can order pills online right now. You can go and you can find them. It takes 10 minutes, and then
Come right to your doorstep.
you pay via cryptocurrency. So this is all completely under the table, unregulated, illegal as hell, but
Illicit.
but it's happening right now, and people are buying pills because and they go to the doctor, they go to the pain doctor, they get a prescription, but then that prescription is not enough and the pain doctor ain't giving them no more. So what do? They go online and this is another this is the DEA. The head of the DEA talked about this at great lengths yesterday. The fact that you can just pick up your phone and have a prescription by the end of the day, and the prescription that comes is fentanyl. It is fentanyl. It is coming to you. It's not prescribed by a doctor. It's not regulated. The pills that they might look just like the other pills you have. They might look like your Norcos. They might look like your Xanax. They might look like your Adderall. They might look like the pills that you think that you're getting, but they're not. But they're not. And I've seen people who have gotten pills online and gone and gotten drug tested, and they thought, hey, I'm just taking my Adderall what I'm supposed to take, and and thought I was. Nope, they just got popped for opiates because
And,
now that's just the way it works.
yeah, and if you are getting things off the street or from a dealer or a trusted person, there are and you're not ready to stop. There are ways to test it as well. This is harm reduction as well. They sell little kits, or you from your local. It's part of the opioid settlement fund. Your local drug and alcohol place will give you free tests for it, and you take a little piece off of it and test it. And I've had to test a lot of. Okay. And I've had to test people's stuff. They've asked me to, from cocaine to whatever, and it's lit up with fentanyl, lit up, and they still knowingly do it. And you can't use Narcan on yourself. It's important to have it, but you can't use it on yourself. So it's important to not use alone and to practice these if you're not ready, because that's important too. You can't just say don't do it. Dare didn't really work because they just said just don't do it. They didn't tell you that you might like it in the beginning, and but then it's not going to be so great. But just not doing it isn't the answer.
So my ask for everybody who watches this, everybody who's online and hearing our message is stay open-minded. Stay open-minded and do some research
Yep.
and look into what fentanyl is and where it's being processed and what's going on, and look into how we can help, eradicate fentanyl than fighting against what could potentially save someone's life. Let's focus on that. Let's go to our government and let's figure out how we can all take a stand against this. Our kids are the important things now. The future is the important, and we've gotten really really smart. We've gotten really really smart, and the world is now, we're this is processed opium. This is man-made stuff that kills. And let's go for that. Let's eradicate fentanyl. Let's get rid of this. Let's try to stay on the same page, keep our eye on the prize. If someone's in recovery around you, love them. Love them, whatever road they're taking, love them, help them, be of service to them, you know, and let's look after each other, and let's go after the bad guys here. Let's get rid of this fentanyl. Let's do that. Let's focus on that. And we're gonna be doing a lot more messages around about how we can get involved and what we can do, and we have a guest next week who's going to be coming on. Ben Lerner is going to be on here. Ben Lerner is a musician, and ex addict, and he's profound and very knowledgeable, and he knows a lot about this. And This is going to be the focus for the next few weeks. We're going to be talking about Matt. We're going to be talking about illicit drugs. This it's not going away anytime soon, and we need to stay in tune with this, because not for ourselves. I've been sober for a long time. Krista's been sober for a long time. The people that we hang out with on the tiki-taki, that are in the comments right now, our friends in the program, we need to stand together and love everybody and fight this good fight. Fight the fight that needs to be fought.
Yeah, and we all have that mindset of, or at one point, that this can't happen to me. we're invincible, but in reality, like it is. I can't even count how many graves I have to visit because of this. And the kids are what's important, and I don't think any age is too young at this point. I remember my parents like not wanting to talk about any of this till like late in high school, but I had already tried a bunch of stuff. Like, really, no age is too young, and it's gonna be uncomfortable to talk about. But would you rather be uncomfortable and be able to watch your kid graduate and see a future, or literally have to bury them and be a grieving parent, and you don't know if your kid might end up helping some other kid. Like I've given the high schoolers in my life Narcan and taught them how to use it and to carry it on them. And it's the future, and education is key. Is key. And if you feel it in your heart, write an elected official on what can you do to help. Your voice matters.
It really does. And this is, getting Narcan, having Narcan, that's an easy thing that everyone can do in every community. Having a place where we can get free Narcan. There are tons of opportunities. There are nonprofits everywhere around you that want to help you to distribute Narcan in your community if you can. You can put a vending machine. There are vending machines that can be put out. And if you think about when you were a kid and you went to the house parties, right? And if all those kids at least had Narcan on them, if somebody was ODing around, then they would be able to administer it. It's not for them, but maybe they'd wanna protect their friends. Maybe they'd wanna protect the other people around them, and Narcan should be, on basically everybody. I know Krista travels with it in case she ever saw somebody in the airport.
I
Um,
give it to the homeless people too. Like I'm like, you don't know if you're gonna see somebody that needs it. It's and if you use it on somebody that's not overdosing, it's not gonna hurt them. That's important too. Because it's hard to might not know what's going on, but it's not gonna hurt them.
So I'm gonna jump over to the comments for 2 seconds because Marie is here. I didn't know Marie was here, and I'm talking about Benjamin Lerner. She's the one who introduced us to Ben Lerner. And Brian's here. He says he is a beyond blessed recovering warrior. I love that, Brian. And Maddie Wheels says, I got 2 years clean next week. Maddie, we're proud of you. We love you, man. And we're so happy that you're here. And we're all here, we're all together, we're all fighting this same fight. Let's fight it together, and let's go after the bad guys. um I think this has been awesome. This is a topic that we're going to be talking about for the next couple weeks, and it is something that we're going to continue to talk about because it's I mean, just because you don't want to talk about it doesn't mean that it ain't out there. And this is why we do what we do. God loves you guys. Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, send us messages. Send us a message. If you are trying to get involved in your community, send us a message. We can try to figure it out together. I might not have the answer for you. Hey, I'm from, Warsaw, Poland. How do I get, Narcan in my community? I don't know how to get Narcan in Warsaw, Poland, but I'll happily jump on the Google with you and we'll figure it out together because we're in this together. Never alone, never again.
Amen. You guys have a wonderful week.
Love